still talk to him smooth. I turn her up to a pack. Your best friend told her she better get back. Okay.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for clicking on this video today. If y'all new to your channel, like the content, please make sure to like, subscribe like always. We very much appreciate it. But today, we got to talk about some boxing because this past weekend, we had a great fight. And honestly, I hope y'all were watching, but in case y'all weren't, I'm going to go on and talk about it, my reaction, what I thought about the fight. So let's get straight into it. What fight am I talking about? I'm talking about the David Benavidez versus David Merrel fight that happened this past weekend. I was pretty excited for the fight when it got announced and everything like that. Both fighters, really good fighters. So I was like, you know what, let's see who wins this, because this is like, I guess it was not really for a belt, a main belt. It just, to climb up the ladder to see who can, get the actual chance to fight for the belt. This fight was at 175, and obviously the people that have the belts is Benavidez and Bevo. Well, now it's only Benavidez because they already fought once. Benavidez won, and he has all the belts. So now they're going to have a rematch. And yeah, whoever wins that is going to have all the belts. So yeah, this fight really wasn't for like a main belt, but it was to see who can really get to the next spot and be a contender, a number one contender for the belts that Bevo and Benavidez are fighting for. So I knew both fighters needed to make a great performance, make a statement performance if they really want the shot at the title and stuff like that. Let's talk about both fighters. David Merrel, I want to talk about David Merrel because I really don't know as much. I don't really watch a lot of his fights because he really didn't have a lot of fights. I think he only had like 25 fights, I think. So yeah, it's not really a lot to look at, but in terms of the last two fights he's had and I've seen, I could see like, okay, this could be a difficult fight for David Benavidez because he's a pretty powerful puncher. What was his last fight I saw? I think his last fight I saw was the Terrence Crawford undercard he was in. I wasn't really too impressed, but I understood his different circumstances. I think in this fight, he was going to bring his A game and do a lot better in this fight, and that's exactly what he did. But before we get into the fight, I just want to talk about the fighters. So yeah, David Merrel, like I said, the things I've seen of him, he looks promising, has good power. He's definitely knocked out people before. Undefeated fighter, and yeah, it could be one of those hard fights for David Benavidez. I can definitely see that. In terms of David Benavidez, now I know a lot more about this guy because I've been watching his fight since he had his first time having the title, because he was a champion at 168 before he went up to 175. If y'all don't know the story, he lost his belt 2 times. One for I think it was cocaine in his blood or something like that. I don't even know if cocaine can be in your blood, but he got caught with having cocaine in his system, right? And then another time was because he was overweight. He went over the weight limit of 168 in one of his fights, so he got the belt taken from him. Yeah, I guess it's a discipline thing. He was younger at the time. He's actually the youngest champion at 168. I think he was 21 when he won his first champion. Which that's great for him. But in terms of like his discipline, obviously it wasn't there that much because he lost the belt twice, But in terms of now, he's obviously matured. He's going more into himself. Now he's at 175 because he's sick and tired of waiting for Canelo, because Canelo's at 168 and obviously he has all the belts and it's not giving him the chance to fight for those belts. So he went up to 175. He's had one fight before this David Merrel fight at 175. And the fight, he was all right. I guess he's adjusting, obviously. He still has power, but the power is not going to be as strong as 168 because these guys are bigger now. You know what I mean? So his first fight at 175 was an all right fight. But like I said, different circumstances. Now in this fight, this one is to get the title shot next, right? So I was like, both of these guys are going to have to bring their A game. And I knew they were. I knew there was going to be a good fight because another thing is they both didn't like each other. I don't know if it's an ego thing. I don't really know the whole story. But I know when I saw the press conference before the fight, I knew that there was some bad blood between them. Now, if y'all didn't see my prediction of the fight, I was thinking like both good fighters. It could be 50-50, but I was definitely leaning more towards David Benavidez to win this fight. In terms of a lot of things, we could talk about experience. We could talk about the types of fighters that he's fought compared to David Merrel. And for me, I just think it's David Benavidez' time now. I don't know how old he is, but he's getting up there in age. And I just think he's a mature boxer now. Obviously, a lot more experience than David Merrel in the ring. People like Caleb Plant, Andre Boo Boo, you know what I mean? So he's definitely had a lot of more experience in that matter. But I just thought, yeah, like I think it's gonna take a lot for anybody to beat David Benavidez, and I just thought that David Merrel didn't have what it took to beat him. Not saying he's a bad fighter or nothing. I just think it would take a lot to beat David Benavidez for a lot of different factors. If y'all haven't seen David Benavidez fight, bro, this guy is a struggle to fight, man. In terms, he got speed for his weight. You know what I mean? This guy's at 175, and his speed is crazy at that weight. You know what I mean? He has some power too, and just a lot of things I want to talk about when we get into the actual fight. But yeah, David Benavidez, it's gonna take a lot for anybody to beat him. For the actual fight, let's say when the fight started, I would give like the first 1 of 4, 5 rounds. It was very close between David Merrel and David Benavidez. They were going back and forth. They were both winning some exchanges and stuff like that. But in terms of like the later rounds, the thing I love about David Benavidez is the way he breaks down his fighters, bro. Let me tell y'all, this guy, when it comes to body shots, it's absolute cinema when I'm watching. I'm not gonna lie, bro. When I watch him fight, the way he gets to the body, bro, he never forgets the body. The body shots are always the ones that slow down a fighter. He never forgets about the body. He's always going to the body. And, bro, his body shots are vicious, bro. I'm not going to lie. Like, when I'm watching, I'm like, bro, if I got hit with a David Benavidez body shot, I'll be down in, like, 2 shots to the liver. I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, you could tell it was slowly, breaking down David Merrel. He wasn't as fast or as powerful as he was in the first few rounds later on in the fight, Bro, you could tell that, like, around, like, 9-10 throughout, I think they were both getting a little tired. Because let me tell you, the whole fight, bro, like they were brawling, bro, and it was super exciting. But the difference between David Merrel and David Benavidez is I think David Benavidez had better combinations, and he was just powerful. You know what I mean? The body shots, bro. It's crazy, bro. If y'all didn't see the fight, man, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But those body shots are vicious. I'm not gonna lie, very vicious. Like I said, David Merrel also had some good success too. Like I think he even hurt David Benavidez at one point that really stumbled him. Because he was on the back of the ropes and he countered him when David Benavidez was coming in. And that kind of shook him. I'm not gonna lie. He trying to act like he wasn't shook, but you obviously, it's trying to a mind game. You're trying to tell the person that you're not hurt when you really are hurt, But yeah, David Merrel, I'll give it to him, bro. He had some good moments in the fight, but in terms of like just as the rounds kept going, you could tell who was starting to take this game and take the fight over. You know what I mean? Now here's the thing about David Benavidez too, right? I don't know if it's because he doesn't have the power is not there at 175 no more, but I feel like there was a time where David Merrel was getting hit pretty bad, and I was like, bro, how is he not going down? You know what I mean? I don't know if he has a crazy chin. Or maybe David Benavidez' power is not, you're not seeing his power as much as it was at 168, Because I always said 168, he was able to hurt people, knock them out, knock them down. But he wasn't really doing that with David Merrel, And I'm just thinking, like, maybe his power is not being shown as much as it was. And obviously not, because they're going up in weight. But I'm going to tell you why I think it might be a bad thing, or it might be a struggle for him later on. Once I, talk about future fights for him. But yeah, it just kind of seemed like his power wasn't always there as much, but it's fine. I know he's still powerful, but his best attribute is being able to break down fighters, and I think he does that very well, Eventually the fight ended, and obviously they embraced right after the fight, and I like when that happens whenever, two fighters are talking mess at a press conference, they get into the ring and they go to war. And after the fight, they acknowledge each other. I like seeing stuff like that. Like, just leave it all behind. You know what I mean? It just shows that there was respect. But the winner was David Benavidez. He won, I think, unanimously. Honestly, I had no complaints. I think that was how I was going to see it, too, I knew it was going to be a unanimous decision. Like I said, in terms of the whole fight, I think David Benavidez was controlling it. David Merrel had his good highlights, good success. But it was all pretty much David Benavidez after, like, the 4th or 5th round, But yeah, very impressive performance by David Benavidez. David Merrel, he tried his best, and I got to salute him for that. He was able to get his chances, like I said, and it made up to a great, great fight. And, I was loving it. I think the fight was amazing, So I got to shout out both fighters. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about, since David Benavidez won, let's talk about what his future is looking like, Honestly, I think there's really only one fight for him to make, and I need it to happen right after this fight. Maybe like end of the year or something like that. And that's him getting the rematch, or not the rematch, the winner of the rematch between Bivol and Beterbiev. I think that shows who's going to be the best fighter at 175, you know, because obviously before he came up in weight, it was just them two, you know what I mean? But now that David Benavidez is in that weight class, there's a new guy. I need to see that fight, and I think it will be amazing. No matter who he fights, either if it's Beterbiev or Bivol, I think it would be an amazing fight. And that's what I was talking about, like his power. You know, when I mentioned his power, I was saying that because, like, listen, these guys, Bivol and Beterbiev, they're pretty strong fighters. Now, obviously, Beterbiev is more known for having power, you know, but if he goes against one of these two fighters, bro, he's got to really focus because I don't know if he's going to be able to knock him out. If you're not knocking out David Merrel, I don't think he'll knock out Bivol or Beterbiev. So it's going to be a very tough fight for David Benavidez. I think it's definitely going to be his toughest fight in his career. But, you know, this is what pressure makes diamonds. I think he can win the fight between any of those two guys. But obviously, we'll see who he fights. In my opinion, I think it'll be Bivol. I think Bivol beats Beterbiev in the rematch. But like I said, we'll see. I'll probably even make a video about my predictions on why I think Bivol wins. Other than that, I really got nothing else to say. Just want to talk a little bit about the fight because I really thought the fight was a banger. I hope y'all watched it. But yeah, other than that, thank y'all so much for the love and all the support. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all for keep tapping in on me and, you know, like and subscribe, all that stuff. So I appreciate that. But other than that, I'll see you on the next one.